Night breath hums. Sinking with my chest again. Street lights flicking a sequential line. Rhythms I track when the tasks align. Minutes in backlog, press and combine. Still I cut through noise with a sharpened spine. Email stacked with a subtle weight. Calendar loops with a tight lock gate. But I thread each moment with a measured rate. Crafting clarity before the pressure's late. Footsteps pacing a pattern sweep. Mind stays wide while the circuit's deep. Mapping every nuance that the shadows keep. Reading hidden cues in the city's sleep. Thoughts race quick through an active maze. Shifting my lens through the hectic phase. I refine each motion with a fluent blaze. Turning stress into calm displays. Parallel pulse in the urban hum. Layers overlap when the signals come. Mind stays bright in the setting numb. I stay aligned while the crowd succumb. Parallel pulse through the nightly sun. Angle shifts smooth when the pattern's drum. Noise runs wild but I never succumb. Moving precise where the beats are from. Yeah. Yeah. Crosswalk ticking with a staggered beat. Balancing work in a looping sheet. Still I keep stride in the dense packed street. Finding quiet threads in the hectic heat. Deadlines echo with a faint recoil. Plans overlap in a structured coil. But I separate lines like a seasoned toil. Turning cluttered paths into polished soil. Ideas spark with a mid-rise gleam. Lighting up gaps in the daily stream. I collect straight thoughts like a coded scheme. Fusing motive and flow into one tight beam. Pressure can't climb but the stance won't break. I hold steady even when the night's awake. Reading every shift with a calm intake. Choosing routes most won't make. When the grids tilt off and the cues divide, I stay in rhythm with the inner tide. Layers collide but I never hide. I ride each wave with a centered stride. Parallel pulse in the urban hum. Layers overlap when the signals come. Mind stays bright in the setting numb. I stay aligned while the crowd succumb. Parallel pulse through the nightly sun. Angle shifts smooth when the patterns drum. Noise runs wild but I never succumb. Moving precise where the beats are from. Night resets, but the pulse keeps running. Angles cross, never meeting where they sing. Sidewalk scripts in the drifting slide. Lions tilt subtle when the crowds divide. People trace past with their inward guide. Never really knowing who walks beside. Footsteps echo with the scattered tone. Everyone pacing in the world they own. I watch those patterns as they overblown. Mapping out truths that the streets postpone. Thoughts run sharp as the signals flip. Reading out gaps in the nightly drip. Even quiet glances have a hidden grip. Threaded motives through a coded slip. Some chase clocks like a restless grind. Some stay lost in a looping bind. But I read difference like a streamlined mind. Finding order in the underlined. Diagonal lines in the city frame. Tilted routes never move the same. Every step plays a private game. But I keep stride where the angles claim. Diagonal lines through the urban name. Crossing close with a silent flame. Nothing stays still, nothing keeps its name. Yet I stay smooth when the shape's inflamed, yeah. Street lamp flickers mirrors in a broken road, casting stretched shadows in a tinsel glow. Each stretch form has a tale to show, though the clues run faint where the breezes flow. Busy minds drift in a slanted chase, edges blur fast in the crowded space, but I track nuance with a steady bass, tracing tension in the interlace. Short talks fade with a hollow ring, playing shift quick like a loose latch spring. Still I keep centered in the balancing, letting minor signs start deepening. Every mismatch has a curve to teach, every straight line has a zone to reach. Even missteps have a grounded speech, hidden meaning beneath the breach. When the grid skews left and the pace redraws, I follow those arcs with a measured pause, reading each shift like encoded laws, finding motion where the pattern flaws. Diagonal lines in the city frame, tilted routes never move the same. Every step plays a private game, but I keep stride where the angles claim. Diagonal lines through the urban name, crossing close with the silent flame. Nothing stays still, nothing keeps its name, yet I stay smooth when the shape's in flame. Angles fade out, but the meaning stays. I'm time ticks, always in a looping glide. Every passing second has a subtle divide. Heartbeats scatter in a staggered stride. Crowds sync wrong, yet they still collide. Signals scatter on the mirrored glass. Footsteps shuffle with a broken class. Still I chart motion like a chronograph, plotting quiet math as the moments pass. Best runs lean with a narrow skim. Mind stays sharp on the urban rim. I catch thin cues in the background dim, with a pace drifts off on a hidden whim. Traffic hum drags with a bending line. Phone screens blink in a restless shine, but I hold calm in the redesign. Let impulse slip clean through the borderline. Meet a drift in the midnight frame. Pace runs wide, yet I move the same. Every beat shifts, it's coded aim. Still I tread smooth with the pattern's flame. Meet a drift with a quiet claim. Steps on core, but I stake my lane. Nothing sinks in a crowded chain, yet I find order in the offbeat strain. Can't switch in a rapid shake, chasing lost seconds through a winding break. Everything rhythm that the crowds remake, as a slight misprint to the steps they take. Breathing light tension in a narrow sweep. Thoughts carve arcs where the noises seep. Even sharp pattern from the floors beneath. Forms a time loop in a sinking deep. Faded fade quick in the city clear. Plans drift off in the dusty air. Still I track nuance with a tactile flare. Reading minor shifts as a quiet prayer. Slow sparks pulse in the passing glow. Picking off pattern where the night winds blow, but I move clean through the ebb and flow. Keeping calm pace when the glitches grow. When the frame slips out of its measured lift, I follow those curves in a subtle sit, finding calm lines in a restless drift. Hold and go while the speed's uplift. Meet a drift in the midnight frame. Pace runs wide, yet I move the same. Every beat shifts, it's coded aim. Still I tread smooth with a pattern's flame. Meet a drift with a quiet claim. Steps on core, but I stake my lane. Nothing sinks in a crowded chain, yet I find order in the offbeat strains.
Footsteps tracing the edge of a district humming in gray. Faces passing like phrases in a book I study each day. Side glances dancing a pattern that gradually frays. I decode the cadence hidden in the wanderer's sway. Laying Scared logic in the margin where the crowd keeps folding. Stories slip from the lips of commuters, the city is molding. I read hints in the tin of expression they're holding. Every fleeting piece of release that my mind keeps scrolling. Parallel footsteps echoing a crossing zone. Every path reflecting something of my mind's backbone. When the grid keeps shifting like a scattered tone, I align my stride to the lines I've grown. Parallel footsteps running with a quiet claim. I interpret motion like a long lost flame. Every subtle gesture in the tidal frame writes a mirror chapter with a whispered aim. Carries a chorus of measured intention. Even silent eyes broadcast their inward tension. I gather fragments in the current like a calm retention, breaking down the noise till it fits my dimension. Under street lamps, mapping the thoughts of the late night crowd. I translate just as drifting in a veil of sound. Some move heavy with the dream and still haven't found. Others glide lightly as if lifted off the ground. A city full of pages turning under faint street glow. Every shadow carving lines only wanderers know. If I pace it patiently, the pulses flow, and I can hear my own motive grow. Parallel footsteps echoing a crossing zone. Every path reflecting something on my mind's backbone. When the grid keeps shifting like a scattered tone, I align my stride to the lines I've grown. Parallel footsteps running with a quiet claim. I interpret motion like a long lost flame. Every subtle gesture in the tidal frame writes a mirror chapter with a whispered aim. In a restless stream, I gather muted clues from the urban dream. Breathe in rhythm into thoughts that gleam. Let emotion mold the leans I redeem.
Edges align, shadows file their claims.
Sharp lines cutting through the skyline gloss. Every frame weighted like a coin toss. Footsteps echoing a muted cross. Tracing faint grids through the urban moss. Mind stays coiled in a measured stance. Reading fine shifts in a nightly trance. Windows flicker with a coded dance. Tiny oscillations in a quick advance. Cold air skims on the mirror stone. Crowds drift past in a hindered tone. Still I call focus where the pace has grown. Holding tight form in a mind full blown. Angles warp soft in the temper gleam. Street hum fades to a distant stream. Yet I keep stride in the sleep regime. Filtering noise like a grounded beam. Onyx pattern in the sleepless glow. Dark waves curve where the slow winds flow. Every step bends with a measured throw. Still I walk firm as the fault lines grow. Onyx pattern in the afterglow. Carving out space where the tension shows. Grading through nights in a steady roll. Keeping calm form in the undertow. Glass panes tilt with a subtle shake. Casting long shadows through the past they make. Every quiet rumble in the ground awake. Draws a tight contour that the crowds mistake. Still breath chills in a refined sweep. Night scents drift in a layered heap. Still I pause signs in the moment's deep. Mapping thin lines where the currents creep. Past broken glances in the passing glow. Carry small meanings only few might know. But I read those signals in a smooth tableau. Catching faint cues in a low tempo flow. Footsteps loop softly around the bend. Time flows slow as the blocks extend. Yet I keep alignment in the frame I tend. Letting each shift tighten and transcend. When the dark folds shake a silent turn, I trace those lines with a subtle burn. Holding stands firm as the pulses churn. Navigating nights with a calm concern. Onyx pattern in the sleepless glow. Dark waves curve where the slow winds flow. Every step bends with a measured throw. Still I walk firm as the fault lines grow. Onyx pattern in the afterglow. Carving out space where the tension shows. Threading through nights in a steady roll. Keeping calm form in the undertow. Contour shift. But the stand stays true. I orbit, edges of pressure, never letting it fracture. Every metric in my method shows a steady dispatcher. People whisper predictions, hoping outcomes catch up, but the chatter scatters flat when my patterns stack up. City pulses in the sequence that I match with precision. Every second in the sector keeps refining my vision. Our attention like a ledger balancing ambition, turning slipping moments into sharp indecision. Orbit in motion, steady on a rising line, reading all distortions with a centered spine, while the skyline flickers in an angled sign. I keep pacing forward through the Titan design. Orbit in motion, never letting rhythm fade, stitching introduction through the plans I've laid. Even when the pressure in the grid cascade, I turn subtle motors in a quiet upgrade. I trace latency in faces trying hard to disguise the fatigue they carry buried in the filtered replies. I stay patient with the cadence while the moment applies. Every minor hesitation is a piece I revise. In the maze of expectation, I maintain my tone, never bend into projections that they carve in stone. Progress lies inside the logic that I built alone, layer by layer in a measured zone. Movement in the margin forms a clearer scheme when the noise is shifting like a distant stream. I refine intention to the edges gleam and aim my path steady through the inner dream. Orbit in motion, steady on a rising line, reading all distortions with a centered spine, while the skyline flickers in an angled sign. I keep pacing forward through the Titan design. Orbit in motion, never letting rhythm fade, stitching in the doctrine through the plans I've laid. Even when the pressure in the grid cascade, I turn subtle motors in a quiet upgrade. 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 Mapping out momentum through the muted weight. I follow coded distance to recalibrate. In the hush between choices that resonate, I keep orbit in motion as I navigate.
City hums in layers, and the layers keep shifting. I read the space between signals that drifting. I navigate the margins where the motives collide. Every subtle bit of tension keeps a pulse in my stride. Conversation in the cadence feels encoded and wide. People speaking little fragments that they tuck and hide. I decode their hesitation with a rhythm refined, mapping every minor gesture in the backdrop of line. When the moment bends awkward with an angle design, I stay centered while the pressure tries to flatten my mind. Margins between us drawn in the moving haze, lines rearranging through the crowded maze, reading the quiet tilt in the things they phrase, keeping my balance in the downtail. Margins between us drifting in open air, hints in the phrase and show what's really there. Even when distance pulls with a subtle glare, I hold composure in the cross-street glare. Across hectic intersections where intentions are stored, people gesture with a caution like a half-written report. Every fragment of expression in the clip retort shows a piece of hidden logic they can't quite transport. I stay fluent in the nuance of the patched up tone, never letting shallow chatter shape what I own. Every shift in their demeanor is a dot of stone, plotted in the quiet grids that I built alone. Between the rush and the reasoning I keep my pace, tracing patterns in the echo of a crowded space. While the social calibration hits a narrow base, I refine my measure in the inner play. Margins between us drawn in the moving haze, lines rearranging through the crowded maze, reading the quiet tilt in the things they phrase, keeping my balance in the downtown phase. Margins between us drifting in open air, hints in the phrase and showing what's really there. Even when distance pulls with a subtle glare, I hold composure in the cross-street glare. The cross-street glare. Hold composure in the cross-street glare. Of the city core, I read it every moment like a shifting score. When the margin tightens a little more, I stay measured, steady to the inner floor. They keep guessing my limit, but the limit keeps bending. I'm moving patterns that they never see extending. I
Pivot through the chatter with a clinical ease, while they measure me in fragments from a narrow breeze. Every label that they offer feels like copied debris. I rearrange the definition till it cuts and frees. Underrated on arrival by their rushed overview, but I've been sculpting every second with a sharper cue. I keep the metrics in my memory like a quiet review, stacking insight in the margin where the logic grew. They underestimate the rhythm in my well-built lane, misreading subtle dedication as a casual frame, but the rigor in my minutes never moves the same. It accelerates the engine like a coded flame. Underestimated orbit spinning outside their gas, mapping what they miss while I rise from the press. Every misread angle becomes my finesse. I stay steady in the lift, they can't compress. Underestimated orbit drawn above the sight, circling past limits while I sharpen my light. Even when they creep, they get me with a narrow bite. I stay tuned to the range where I set my height. I work inside the gradient where detail thrives, past the quick assumptions in the surface dives. Every slight misjudgment that the vision derives turns fuel for the momentum in my measured drives. They react to incomplete versions of my pace, trying to sketch my outline from a fragment trace, but I refine decisions in a careful place, balancing intellect with a grounded base. All the overconfident murmurs never shift my aim. I parse the premature verdicts with a tempered flame. Precision in my choices keeps the profile tame, while I grow in quiet increments they can't reclaim. In the gaps of perception I keep my rule, letting every misread fade without dispute. Thoughts stay aligned when the noise is acute. I move in the calm where the patterns compute. I move in the calm where the patterns compute. Orbit spinning outside their guests, mapping what they miss while I rise from the press. Every misread angle becomes my finesse. I stay steady in the lift, they can't compress. Underestimated orbit drawn above the sight, circling past limits while I sharpen my light. Even when they predict me with a narrow bite, I stay tuned to the range where I set my height. They keep trying to frame me in a simpler way, but the orbit that I follow doesn't bend that way. Through the layer horizon of a working day, I expand in forms they can't portray.
Yeah. Yeah. Dry line slicing the mist with a mind like a wire. City hum flickering under my steps while I'm climbing the spire. Micro thoughts firing in cycles aligning the choir. Of inner motives, I'm molding the ride when the tempo gets drier. Sidewalk static attacking, I'm tracking the subtle distortion. Pivot quick with precision decisions, I live in proportion. Limitless minutes replenishing grid in my mental contortion. Every breath is a sketch of progression in constant proportion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Urban airflow, steady on a razor lane. Cutting through the chatter with a pulse I train. Every shifting moment in a moving frame. I redirect the pressure till it fuels my urban airflow. Threaded in the steps I take. Quiet in appearance but the core won't break. When the noise expands and the voices shake, I refine the route with the choices I made. Wind warp chatter around me is bending in loops, but I convert turbulence into motive and proof. Heart rate pacing the pavement, evading the truth. Letting later logic lift me from the weight of the roof. Rapid cadence ingrained in the grain of my breath. Balancing the strain like a game I sustain to the death. Every minor doubt trying to circle and drain what is left, but I sever the chain with the flame I retain in the cleft. If the city spins wide, I stay aligned in the drift. Reading patterns in the scatter to the angle shift. Yeah, call it discipline or instinct, either way it's a gift. Turn chaos to a spark and a spark to a lift, yeah. Urban airflow, steady on a razor lane. Cutting through the chatter with a pulse I train. Every shifting moment in a moving frame. I redirect the pressure till it fuels my urban airflow. Threaded in the steps I take. Quiet in appearance but the core won't break. When the noise expands and the voices shake, I refine the route with the choices I make.
aligning with everything I enforce. Lines from the mind intertwining to guide every course. Forward motion encoded, never breaking the source. I keep sculpting the silence into discipline force.
City hums and layers, I decode the thin divides. Every passing moment sketching out the hidden guides.
I pace the avenue, mapping all the minor cues, all the flickering impressions in the narrow views. Every billboard message carries borrowed cues, but I filter through the noise till the value renews. In the streaming motion where the sidewalk bends, I refine my logic while the rhythm extends. Every choice I make just adapts and ends, measured in a matrix where precision blends. I bring emotion to patterns that the traffic forms, crossing inconsistency through the shifting norms. People moving edits in incomplete forms, but I calibrate intentions through the urban storms. In these land nights, intuition stays alert, balancing calculation with the ground assert. Even when the pressure try to twist or divert, I keep my internal compass in a tempered skirt. Night metric line, drawn sharp in my mind, tracing all the currents that the city designed. I refine, realign, keep the sequence of fine, living in the clarity they rarely find. Night metric lines through the glow in the haze, reading every angle with a disciplined gaze. I stay raised in the maze where the insight stays, walking through the rush with calibrated ways. Walking through the rush with calibrated ways. Yeah. Streetwide murmurs stretch across the tighter blocks. Every subtle contradiction in the city talks. All the hurried destinations feel like ticking clocks, but I move with steady reasoning that never shock. People chase projections in a crowded sweep, trading quick opinions they can't fully keep, but I hold my focus in a deeper keep, soaking through the layers where the meaning sleep. In the dense transition where decisions stack, I refine each measure, never tracing back. Every fleeting moment adds to my mental track, building quiet frameworks that the trends can't crack. Through the shifted intention of the nighttime grid, I maintain perspective in the work I did. Nothing in the static ever runs, can't live, but I navigate the filter with my mind amid. Through the midtown echo, I tune my plan, letting instinct rise where the metrics span. In the lines between thoughts I understand how the night reveals what the day begin. Night metric line, drawn sharp in my mind, tracing all the currents that the city designed. I refine, realign, keep the sequence defined, living in the clarity they rarely find. Night metric lines through the glow and the haze, reading every angle with a disciplined gaze. I stay raised in a maze where the insight stays, walking through the rush with calibrated ways. Ebbing through the rush with calibrated ways. Every deep reflection in a passing light turns another measure in my inner. As the city keeps shifting out of plain sight, I move in the design. My thoughts ignite. My thoughts ignite. Ooh, my thoughts ignite. My thoughts ignite. Yeah. Corridors carved by the city demand, balancing the metrics they can't fully understand. Every angle tilts quick when the markets expand, but I move with a clarity they never had planned. All the chatter in the towers tries to shape my stance, in the glare of ambition wrapped in glamorized chance. They advance on illusions in the narrow expanse, while I'm building quiet logic in a sharper trance. I calibrate motives with a mirror tone, reading coded intentions in a downtown zone. Every claim they throw sounds overblown, but I filter out the noise till the truth is known. In the pace of decisions where the high rise leans, I refine each thought in the gaps between screens. Not a part of the rush or the reckless scenes. I evolve in directions no one else convenes. Yeah, parallel intent, moving clean through the frame. Two tracks of ambition never matching the same. In the strain of the game where they chase for acclaim, I remain uncontained by the road they proclaim. Parallel intent where the goals realign. I define every line with an inner design. In the city inclined to distort and confine, I still keep every sign on the balanced incline.
the shape, every choice like a subtle snare. They compare from a distance with a vacant stare, but I move with precision in a measured flare. In the late night grind, when the timelines clash, I decode the reactions in a rapid flash. People chase validation in a shallow dash, but I follow quiet logic that they can't rehash. I maintain composure in the sideways pool, where the tension of the hustle try to overrule. Every whisper agenda feels half due, but my center stays calm, staying methodical. Through the depth of the noise where attention bends, I reevaluate motives when the moment extends. Even when the pattern shifts and subtly blends, I adjust with a reason only inside sends. Two versions of purpose, drift close but divide. One shape by the crowd, one shape from inside. And I glide between both with a measured stride. Let an instinct decide what the odds can't hide. Parallel intent, moving clean through the frame. Two tracks of ambition, never matching the same. In the strain of the game, where they chase for a grain, I remain uncontained by the road they proclaim. Parallel intent, where the goals realign. I define every line with an inner design. In a city inclined to distort and confine, I still keep every sign on a balanced incline. When the echoes thin out and the tension slows, only true calibration in the mindset grows as the contrast between expectation shows. I proceed with the rhythm that my clarity chose. That my clarity chose. That my clarity chose.
Every chapter folds into the next one, but the current never stops flowing. Let's close this page right. Slow tides, I've been walking with a pen full of hindsight, carving out the rhythms where the doubts used to bite. Mind tight, but the calm is where the real things ignite. Quiet in the corners, every shadow learned to write. Long days taught me language and a gesture, but the breeze turned the pressure to a thesis. Now the stress is on his knees. I'm breathing through the changes like the pages in the trees. Every fall is just a lecture about the courage in the leaves. I don't chase noise, silence got a deeper way to speak. I polish up the lows until the motives get unique. They tried to measure value by the volume of the peak, but I'm sculpting all the space around the words I never leave. Closing the current, but the river's still awake. Every moment that we carried, every risk we had to take. Hold the echo in your palm, let it shimmer till it breaks. We ain't ending, just evolving with the current that we make. Broken into patterns, but I realign the poles. Turning theories into movement, and the movement into goals. Every stumbling assumption that me studying the roles. Now I'm drafting every limit like it's something I control. Insight spinning like a turbine in the chest, where the caution used to mimic all the static and the stress. I've been running analytics on the things I can't express, then convert them into cadence till the way become finesse. Never needed validation from a chorus of the loud. Depth is in the quiet where the wiser ones are proud. If the future is a skyline, let the still become the vow. I'm aligning every footstep with the purpose of the now. Whoa. Closing the current, but the river's still awake. Every moment that we carried, every risk we had to take. Hold the echo in your palm, let it shimmer till it breaks. We ain't ending, just evolving with the current that we make. We're not done, just moving forward.